Good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations to all of you on your graduation from the Industry Operations Leadership and Management Certificate course at McMaster University. It's an honor and a privilege to be invited to speak to you today, the class of 2022. And what a time it is in industry as we're presented with more challenges than perhaps we've seen before, certainly in our lifetimes. I congratulate you not only on completing your studies, but on taking this time to invest in yourself and your continued development as you progress on your career path. As we emerge from a global pandemic, industry, although may vary in nature, consists of very similar challenges today. We face significant labor shortages, supply chain disruption, record levels of escalation, workplace culture evolution, and accelerated need for sustainable solutions, just to name a few. The pandemic has led all of us to reflect on where we are at and where we are going. Having the opportunity to speak to you today had me reflect on my own career. My career to date has been a series of life-changing experiences and opportunities, starting as a summer intern and ending up as a chief operating officer of a major Canadian aerospace company. You can imagine I too have faced many challenges. Most certainly, not all combined as we see them today. However, I have learned we always have a solution set we can depend on. This is called leadership. Leadership is a big word, not easily described, but rather felt by those around us. And it always results in finding the right solutions. Today, I depend on a rule I created for myself many, many years ago. Great leaders wake up every day and they want to be better than they were the day before. They're motivated to move the business forward and see those around them be successful and achieve their goals. If we follow this basic rule, we wake up every day committed to do better than the day before. We can always find the solution to these complex problems, and we're certainly dedicated to doing just that. In addition to this golden rule, I've created my top 10 tips for leadership. Although the top 10 has largely remained the same for all these years I've been in industry, when I was reflecting on them as I prepared to speak to you today, I've realized a couple of things. These top 10 have become even more relevant in the current industry environment. However, the examples of how to apply them have certainly shifted from the past. As I share them today, I'll speak more about what I've learned in applying them in the current industry environment, as opposed to my experiences from the past. First, and potentially the most important, listen and ask a lot of questions. Really listen to the answers. I have many examples to share when it comes to this advice, but by far the greatest test to our listening was the pandemic, and continues to be the workplace culture evolution we're currently in. As March 2020 happened and many of us headed home to set up makeshift offices in our living rooms, we went from a world that was highly sensory to one that was highly audible. We got onto our phones, our video chats. We tried to figure out how to deal with the situation. We really had to listen. We had to listen to each other. We had to listen to the news, the politicians, the doctors, and most importantly, our employees. There were no more side meetings after the meeting, no more chats by the water cooler to catch up and see what had been missed. On the flip side, as much as we learned to listen and be very present in conversations, perhaps our greatest failure that we're still living with today is that we didn't listen enough. We didn't listen to single mothers who were trying to deal with kids at home and manage a career. We didn't listen to employees who were struggling with isolation and heavy workloads. We didn't listen to the fear of people returning to the office or needing alternate work arrangements. And today we've seen many talented people leave the workforce because we didn't listen. Never before has it been so important to listen. As we rebuild industry and look to secure those talented people, are we really listening to what they need to be successful? The smartest person in the room is not the one that talks the most. It is the person who listens the most. Number 2, difficult situations, experiences, and conversations provide the best learning. You will not feel this way at the time, but I think we can all agree we probably learned more during the pandemic than ever before. We had to learn and learn quickly. We had to figure out how to make industry successful, survive financially, while dealing with closures, with illness, with safety protocols, with quarantines, and more. I think we can all reflect now to say if we were successful through the pandemic, we can face anything going forward. We have learned such a key set of skills, not those that we necessarily planned to learn, but those that we're certainly going to use. And although today's challenges are significant, it sometimes seems we forget we've just emerged from an unprecedented situation in which we were able to manage and in many cases be successful. Cherish these challenges, accept them, take as much away from them as you can, and they will serve you well going forward. Number 3, always have an open mind and take a lot of chances. Although we face significant challenges in industry today, this provides us with a tremendous opportunity. We need to do things differently in every way. We need to create inclusive work cultures, find sustainable solutions, invest today to ensure there's a strong future tomorrow. Many of us in industry rely on the way things have always been done, but we need to be open to those who are sharing their vision on the way things need to be done in the future. We are certainly at a crossroads in industry between what was and what will be. It is well within our control to spend the time today and invest on creating the future, but we need to have an open mind and take a lot of chances on the new ways of thinking and doing things that may not be proven yet. I've had to challenge myself on this one as I entered the world of sustainable aviation. It's really easy for us traditional aerospace types to sit back and talk about how complex it is to make things fly, until someone just entering the industry tells you how they're going to make cars fly using electric propulsion. These are the types of conversations that really challenge you on how to open your mind and take a chance on what could very well be the future. I encourage you, instead of taking the approach, it's never been done before, to see how it can be done going forward. Number 4, sustainability is here to stay. It needs to happen in every way. When I speak of sustainability, I think of the true definition. Sustainability means meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. When we reflect pre-pandemic, 2020 promised to be a huge year. Economies were booming, worldwide economic growth, industry in Canada was close to max capacity. We were in a position we were doing outsources and offloads to be able to sustain our own ramp-ups of product developments and production lines. It was wonderful, but it was not sustainable. This conversation today is critical for industry. As I've said many times, as we emerge from the pandemic, industry is at a crossroads, and it's not just going through a transformation, but in fact, essentially going through a reset. It's critical for the future of Canadian industry that we invest today in new technology and products, especially those which are sustainable. And we certainly have the national talent to keep Canada on the forefront. How and what we invest in the next couple of years will create the foundation and the roadmap for the next decades to come. This also means how we invest in people and we create a more diverse workforce. As industry, we've been trying to move the needle on diversity for decades, and unfortunately, we haven't made the gains that we needed to. Diversity today is the key to our success and creating a sustainable industry. Significant labor shortages can be solved by considering all possible candidates for roles in industry. Even more so, complex problems will only be solved by those who have diverse thoughts and backgrounds. We have a wonderful opportunity today to welcome many talented and skilled individuals from other countries. We, as leaders, need to be the ones that drive diversity in our workforce and leverage talent with all backgrounds. And now, some more personal advice for you as leaders. Number 5, find your balance, and it won't be the same as anyone else's. The never-ending battle of work-life balance. One of the greatest outcomes of the pandemic, to be honest, is that we're having more and more of this conversation. A leadership role can be demanding and draining, and this won't change. Even with the face of workplaces changing, leadership demands are very much the same. What is critical is that you find your own balance, and I can assure you it will not be the same as anyone else's. You need to decide your own boundaries in terms of how many work demands you'll take on and what you need to do to rest and recover. Your career is truly a marathon, it's not a sprint, and it needs to be sustainable. This was my major life lesson when I left a very significant career as a COO to start my own consultancy business. What I thought was my balance in that large role was nowhere near the balance I actually needed. I can now say I found that balance. I often reflect on this when I'm out for a bike ride on a sunny Friday morning. I reflect on the way I personally feel in terms of my own happiness, my own energy level, and my own sense of peace. Not only do you need to find your balance, but you need to recognize your team is doing the same, and they need a supportive leader who values this just as much as they do. Number 6, find a mentor, someone you believe in and you look up to. This is something I am especially passionate about and why I teach the mentorship section of the programming at McMaster. I have always had mentors through the course of my career, and it is a major element of why I believe I've been successful. Throughout your course, you've had the opportunity to experience mentorship and to understand more about how it works, what type of individual you look for in a mentor. Your ongoing career development and learning often comes to those critical conversations with a mentor, when you have someone to be open and honest with, and someone who will keep you honest to your development plan. Remember, the race is long, and in the end, it is only with yourself. Find someone who will support you as you progress and who will continue to encourage you. Number 7, the shortest route is typically not the best. It is often the most painful, offers very little scenery along the way, and the reward is short-lived. Although I've been very successful in my career and progressed through an organization from a summer intern to a COO, there are many detours I've taken along the way, many lateral moves, so I had the opportunity to learn new aspects of the business. My greatest comparison to this is when I'm out hiking. People often think to have a successful hike, you have to go up the side of a mountain on a very, very steep incline to get to the top to see a spectacular view. You do that. You reach the top, completely exhausted, and you look at the view. You take a few pictures, and then you head back down. It's very short-lived. In fact, the greatest enjoyment I've had in hiking is to follow the trail along the river, to see wildlife along the way, to stop, take my boots off, cool my feet in the stream, and reflect on how beautiful the surroundings are. Think about this as you're deciding on your career path. Sometimes it's better to take some time to see a few more sights before you head up that mountain. Number 8, when you're leading with your head, be sure to lead with your heart. Show empathy, be honest, and be transparent. One of my favorite articles on leadership, A Survival Guide for Leaders, outlines the need to sometimes recalibrate your moral compass. It's an article that was written 20 years ago, but remains highly relevant, especially today. It's about anchoring yourself as you go through these turbulent times. The leader you want to be is inside of you. Please do not try to be someone you are not. What employees look for is a leader is someone they believe in and they can trust. The only way to do this is to be honest and transparent with them, as well as yourself. Have real conversations with people. Understand the challenges they're facing and be willing to share yours. Number 9, do what you love and have fun. For this, I'll go back to something that happened very early in my career. Many years ago, as I progressed into a leadership position, of course, I had a mentor. I remember I went to her one day all confused about what to do with my career and if I should be doing things differently. I'll never forget her words. First, she told me the only person that had the answers for me was me. Second, she told me, just make sure you do what you love and the rest will be easy. That has stayed with me for all these years and I have followed it. I have been in roles that I absolutely loved, like managing clean sheet aircraft programs. And I've been in roles that I did not love and ended up making career choices. When I left my role as COO, I wasn't sure I would stay in the aerospace industry. In fact, I was almost convinced that I would not. However, what I've learned these past couple of years is that I love the industry. The people are passionate and talented, and we accomplish incredible things. And so I remain in it simply because I love it. As we are in such turbulent times, we as leaders, as well as all of our team members, need to love what we do and have the drive and passion to continue to face the challenges that we have today. When you have a team of passionate people, you really can achieve anything. And finally, believe in yourself and find people who believe in you. There will be tough days along the way. We would not be leaders if there were not. Leadership can be a very lonely place at times, and you need to believe in yourself and have the confidence you are doing the right thing. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, that you can trust, you rely on, you confide in, and have a shoulder to cry on when you need to. You will have to make difficult decisions. You will have failures along the way, and you will question yourself. This is all a part of leadership. It's not how you fall, it's how you get up the next day and face the challenge ahead. Again, I congratulate you for taking the time to continue to develop yourselves at such a pivotal time in industry, a time that is truly unprecedented. Take everything you have learned and take the steps to set the future of industry. While you are doing that, remember, the basics of leadership remain the same, despite the environment that may change significantly. Remember to listen to all those around you, to learn from difficult situations you will face. Have an open mind, take chances, find your balance, find a mentor, lead with your head and your heart, do what you love, believe in yourself, and most importantly, set the future for generations of individuals from all different walks of life. Congratulations once again to the graduating class of 2022. You are the leaders to drive the change we need going forward. I wish you all the very best in the future.